Hey, hi, hello! It's me, Liv, your cosmic counselor and astrology enthusiast. I'm here to improve your cosmic IQ and raise your astrological awareness about the current lunation and transits occurring today, July 9th, 2023. My intention is to help you harness the celestial energy already radiating around us and to transmute that energy into a positive force for us and in our transformation towards being live-tastic. That means living your life as the best example of yourself as your authentic self. And our potential best is achievable in the daily minutiae as we continue to evolve and progress forward on our paths. And I believe that the universe was beautifully created with meaning and purpose, and the celestial bodies dually serve as guides and energy influences to assist us in our own growth, development, and fulfillment of life and purpose. And I am here to happily and humbly serve up some translations of these transits and offer interpretations as well as examples on how to apply this astrological energy in your life. So today we are experiencing the third quarter moon in the sign of Aries at 17 degrees, and the sun is at 17 degrees of Cancer. During quarter moons, the sun and moon aspect each other in a square. Now, an aspect is the astrological term we use to describe the energetic interaction between two bodies. Mathematically, this is calculated by distance in degrees of signs around the astrological wheel. Now, certain angles carry significance, like the 90 degrees of a square. And we have talked about before in other videos that squares signify an energy of friction, confrontation, conflict, and uncomfortable effort. And I wouldn't necessarily say that squares are negative energy, but here it represents a challenge point between the sun in watery emotional Cancer and the moon in fiery spirited Aries. Now, the third quarter moon and square offers an excellent energetic point to pause and pivot on our lunation cycle journey down from the full moon and back to the new moon. This phase of the moon cycle between full and the next new moon is known as the waning phase, and this third quarter marks like the midpoint of it. And during the waning phase, the moon appears to be decreasing in size as the illuminated surface area declines. Now, this phase similarly resonates with decrease in our lives and energy. The celebration from the full moon is over, and now it is time to clean up after the party. The key word for third quarter moon is release, and this square energy is really helpful for us to pause and recognize what exactly we need to focus on releasing. Now, this is an excellent evaluation moment for what is and isn't serving us, our goals, and our live-tastic best. Now, back to the party metaphor, we need to look around and see what is worth keeping and cleaning to reuse and what needs to be thrown out. Like the cake, maybe? No leftovers, please. And did we use fine china or paper plates? Can we keep the vases but compost the dead flower arrangements? But, like, what are we keeping? But while we're taking post party inventory, I also want to evaluate the importance of what we have out. Did I use everything to reach my full moon goals? What was really useful and added value to the effort? What just added time and took energy to put out, but wasn't really necessary? Now, as we're packing up our party supplies, remember that our storage closet can only hold so much stuff. Now, next month's party and goals might require new or different decorations to pull off. So, what can we get rid of from this one to make room? Now, I know this is a really cheesy physical metaphor, but I'm trying to help you conceptualize the importance of and necessity to work on releasing what doesn't serve you. Also, I want to communicate a facet of releasing that is sometimes like glossed over or skipped over, and that is the temporary success tactics, the party or theme specific decorations. These are things that did serve you for that goal, but we can't just evaluate them based on their efficacy of that purpose. Now, are these skills, habits, thoughts, emotions, tactics, etc., are they transferable to other areas or new goals? Will they have the same success rate there? Or do they need to be appreciated for the purpose they fulfilled and be released to make room in the closet for something better suited for future use? Now, I think that this evaluation process is like the epitome of the square energy. The debate between, well, it did help me here, and the reluctance to let go because it was helpful then. Like, it's the same energy and thought process I have going through clothes in my closet. Something that I loved and had great memories in, but now is like a little faded or stained or just doesn't fit exactly right. Now, there are some things we are ready to part with, and there are some that we fight with ourselves to justify keeping, even at the expense of making room for something better for us. And this third quarter moon is absolutely perfect timing to raid our personal and physical closets, especially with Leo season coming up and the sun is still in Cancer now. But I really do mean in a very physical sense. Now is an excellent time to go through our closets and household goods to evaluate what we need to keep, what we can repair, or what we need to let go. Now, for me, this starts with the linen closet, going through like sheets, bedding, and towels. I also go through like the dish towels and cleaning rags. Now, in my house, I try not to use paper towels or napkins, so I have a lot of like washable cloths in small squares, and I need to go through them. And I realized while I was doing this that like I like some more than others, and so I make like a note of no more microfiber. They just aren't my favorite. And so no more of those. And then I realized ones I do use a lot, they need to be retired if they aren't disintegrating already. Now, there are several like fabric recycling programs, so you don't actually have to like throw them away. And I am making a pile of these with other clothes and items that are just like in too bad of shape to be donated for reuse by someone else. And like also no one wants someone's old used underwear, bras, and socks, which is like my next area of scrutiny after the linen closet. Now, socks especially for me because I'm really particular about like texture and fit with my feet. And also they just seem to be one of those things that magically reproduce in the drawer, and I'm constantly like accumulating new pairs. Anyway, but after that, I go through my jackets and shirts. And jackets, personally, are the easiest because I can quickly see what doesn't fit me anymore. And I'm pretty honest about what I didn't wear at all during the previous season. And I'm also pretty utilitarian with my jackets. And it's like the quick and easy subject to cross off my list. Quick little dopamine fix, if you will. But shirts I find to be the most helpful to work through during Cancer season specifically because the third quarter moon is always after the full moon in Capricorn. And in my closet, the biggest difference in my personal and professional wardrobe is between my shirts. And in my personal style, I've also noticed a shift away from the almost professional and the work or unisex t shirts into like more feminine pieces and cuts and fabric and prints, like definitely more florals. But this past year has been a really big development and effort into recognizing, appreciating, integrating, and accepting my feminine self. And to see the physical evidence of this in my wardrobe reflecting that like shift back has kind of been astounding. Like last year I almost never wore dresses except for like special occasions and being forced to, and now I'm voluntarily opting to wear them casually, like right now, instead of like a beer shirt and pants. And so that's the other thing with shirts is that they are more than any other article of clothing. They like project your personality or experiences to other people, whether it be like logos or destinations or graphics. T-shirts can really reflect who we are and like what we find humorous or aesthetic and where we have been. Now, looking through my shirt collection is like going through a scrapbook of my past selves and experiences. I've got like goats on the roof, more goats, bees, different beers, Vermont. But besides looking for stains and rips, etc., I'm also looking at what doesn't fit me anymore, both in like size and spirit. Now, being in the brewing industry, I have a lot of beer shirts that reflected the period of my life where there really was no clear boundaries between personal and professional life. And at this point, while I'm still working in that industry, it no longer consumes my life. And I'm ready to release some of those shirts and rolls. I'm also making a distinction between beer shirts that I have bought while visiting or enjoyed as a trip and shirts from companies I worked for. I am intentionally reorganizing my closet, my life, and the boundaries between work and other. Now, like this distinction of self outside of or without career is a huge personal project of mine, and I'm working on it from like every angle I can, including the closet. And another personal mindset I'm working on revolves around my body image and weight and is really triggered by pants. Really triggered by the pants. So I always avoid and put this one off last, as in I still haven't done it. But I tend to carry all my weight in my like waist and hips and thighs. I remember being told by a tailor that I was very, very pear shaped. That was my sophomore year of high school, being fitted like tailored a dress for prom, and it has stuck with me. But maybe I need to release that. But pants more than anything, other than that dry cleaner, pants that really point that out to me is where I hold my weight. And so this is also the thing that I hate shopping for the most because it makes me feel the worst and it's the most difficult to find a good all-around like fit because like I'm only 5 feet tall, but I have really short legs. I'm 5 feet tall. I have a normal sized torso and super short legs. So to find something wide enough, I usually have to go for like capri versions. So it's either capris or I have perfected the pant roll because hemming is just like too much effort for me, if I'm being honest. But like as I'm going through my pants, I realize that I have so many pairs and of shorts that I still have tags. Like I know that there are two pairs specifically of shorts, even from last year, that I was like, oh, I need to get rid of them. And so I either bought the size I thought I needed, but that brand doesn't accurately match, like I didn't try them on in the store, or I was optimistic about the smaller size being motivational. Optimistic and wrong. But so instead of these like tiny and tight pants continuing to take up space and make me feel self-conscious or make me feel guilty about not sticking to a diet or wasting money on buying them, I am choosing space and peace by donating them. And okay, so I'm going through my closet and donating things that no longer fit me physically and aesthetically. Easy, right? But I'm also going to challenge myself by parting with some of my like security go-to items, like my favorite pair of black leggings. It's scary, but to be honest, they're in pretty rough shape, but they do have some life still left in them. But I need to get rid of them to eliminate like my fallback and routine option. I need to release in order to force myself to like wear more of what I actually own. I am really trying to make space and better use of what I have, and I can't do that with my safety pants, you know? Like every time I go through my closet, now I'm gonna try and pick a few challenge pieces like this because I really am trying to grow as a person, and like small things like this are opportunities to become familiar with being initially uncomfortable. Like, I am, for myself, I am destigmatizing that like initial uncomfortable period of growth in my life, like the part before real change and transformation take place. And like the energy of this third quarter moon is going to help me through it. It's starting with small things like closets and getting used to the practice of releasing what doesn't fit me, because I have already grown, literally, but eventually I can work on releasing big things like generational trauma to make space for me to grow. So the closet clean out, that's the warm up for me during this third quarter moon. And the real meat and potatoes, which is probably how I got into this mess in the first place with the pants, but the real meat and potatoes of this lunation is to focus on releasing limiting beliefs and learned behavior and emotional patterns inherited by generational trauma. So, like, generational trauma is a term we are hearing a lot of now, and there's quite a few, like, perspectives and interpretations. But for my purposes, with the sun in ancestral family oriented Cancer, I am going to be focusing on the attitudes and behavioral and emotional patterns and limiting beliefs that were taught to me and that also like constructed the environment that I grew up in, especially the ones centered around work, career, and resources. But before this, I want to start this reflection and evaluation off with immense gratitude and appreciation for my family and everything they have done for me and for us, and to be where I am in life right now. And I am especially grateful for my grandparents who immigrated from Poland in the 1960s. Like, my grandfather experienced childhood through concentration camps and a Russian gulag in Siberia. He worked extremely hard to build a plumbing business for himself in America, along with like several other jobs. And he and my grandma raised and provided for six kids, and managed to send everyone to college. And I am so thankful for the examples of dedicated work ethic, personal sacrifice, financial frugality, and like resource management. I learned a lot of skills from my grandfather, like plumbing, and the importance of saving money and investing. And like, I learned the courage to start a business and the self discipline needed to work for yourself. There are so many beautiful things I learned and am better for because of my grandfather. And I acknowledge that they absolutely contributed to who I am and what I have achieved and where I am now. And I will never not be appreciative of him and all of that. But wanting more for myself is not wrong or disrespectful or ungrateful either. Now, this third quarter moon is asking me to reflect on: what beliefs and patterns have I learned that no longer work for me, or which ones are holding me back from blossoming into the full potential of myself? And for me, the two biggest limiting beliefs in my life right now are around scarcity and career. And for me, it's probably easier to start with scarcity, because that is really logical to take inventory and recognize all the abundance in my life. It's also easy because I'm living in Dahlonega, Georgia, with Walmart down the road and not in a shed in Siberia. But really, I am so lucky to have so many resources available to me, like access to information with the internet and libraries, and like the ability to buy books even. Like, my fridge and pantry are full. I have a garden full of edibles, and I have money to buy groceries, even name brands. So thankful for that. And I have a reliable car with a full tank of gas, and I'm not super anxious about, fluctuating gas prices. And I have the absolute privilege to buy gas from a station of my preference and convenience. And yeah, I do see that and all of this as a blessing and a privilege, because I didn't always have this. But, thanks to my family's lessons, I was able to work my way from coupons and carpooling to where I am now. And I have the luxury now to let go of some of my things. I know that I am privileged to have so many clothes that I can donate some and still have a wardrobe full of variety. I am so lucky to have a life where I am not constantly wearing a uniform because I have no other choice but to use my time to work. And I am not going to let myself feel guilty for getting rid of items that no longer fit me. I'm not going to let myself feel guilty for having so much that I am choosing to have less stuff in order to be more free. I am transmuting the scarcity fear of not having enough and hoarding to accumulate more stuff into a perspective of having less and being satisfied with enough physically, so I can concentrate on more intangible things like freedom, gratitude, creativity, and peace. And this concept of less stuff for more life is especially pertinent to me as a military spouse because moving frequently is an inescapable reality. Eventually, I want to spend less time and effort packing, unpacking, and organizing so I can enjoy more time living my life comfortably in each location. I'm just one of those people that like I need my house to be set up to feel comfortable in it. So the longer I can enjoy being in a setup house and the less time it takes me to set up the next one, the better. And also being a military spouse and understanding like the frequency of relocating, that's also an important influence to consider in my career options. Now, like it used to be that like, oh, working hard for a company for a promotion or working to establish, your business or reputation, it only works if they have opportunities for me to relocate or go remote or it's completely portable. An ugly truth about military spouse life is the majority of unfulfilled career potential and hiring discrimination against us. Like companies, they don't want to invest in your hire or your promotion because you could only be there for a year or like 3 years maximum. I personally have a degree in applied industrial chemistry and have had phenomenal career opportunities or, research positions, but either they required like long contracts or relocation of places. And I am not complaining about these like missed opportunities because I have chosen to marry my husband, like knowing about these sacrifices. And I want to have a relationship with him more than I want a doctorate or a patent or another research publication. And like the knowledge in choosing to have a family and invest my time and energy in developing a family, that means like the ideas of a successful career or work that I'm proud of, that has to change. Like that is one motivating factor behind pursuing an astrology business. It can be very fulfilling for me to work to help other people heal and become self aware. And it also fits into the structure of a happy and whole life for myself. For 3 years, Michael and I were married and living separately on different continents. And now that we are thankfully reunited, we can focus on nurturing our relationship and possibly developing a family together. Something that my grandfather used to say, and I am especially thinking about this as Neptune trans Mercury tonight, when I would talk to him about like my plans or new job offers or goals, he would like cut me off and in a really discouraging way say like fantasy, you have this big fantasy, and basically, um like literally cut me off as well as the hopes and optimism I had for those dreams. So with this third quarter moon, I need to release the limiting beliefs I have around my hopes and dreams for my profession and, fears of scarcity and financial insecurity in pursuing them. And I know that I am currently blocking or limiting myself with these mindsets that, they might have served them. They have served me in the past, but they no longer fit me or the life I am building for myself. I am the one keeping my dreams in a fantasy and from being a reality. And this third quarter moon is supporting me as I go through my physical and psychological closets and decide to get rid of what no longer fits me. Also, right now, Aries, the goddess asteroid of discord and chaos, who I like to call the stir shit up indicator, she is trining Venus, the planet of beauty, value, money, and she is in Leo, the sign of creative self expression and public performance. And also, Chiron, our buddy Chiron, is still trining Black Moon Lilith and encouraging us to integrate healing, the shamed self, the aspects of us that were repressed when scoffed at. And the moon itself, the representation of our inner selves, she will be conjunct with Chiron 2 degrees after the third quarter moon. So that's only 3 hours later, we will get another Chiron conjunction, and it will be significantly powerful from the moon. Now, Chiron is actually going to be a little sensitive the next few days because on July 11th, it will be squaring the sun. So you can expect to see some of our wounding and trauma and healing to be illuminated, which can be positive. Because then we know where to start. We know what needs to be worked on. We know what needs to be loved and accepted. And also positively on this day, Mars and Pallas Athene are going to be conjunct and trining the North Node in Taurus. Now, I am expecting some action and lessons to be revealed around like value and resources, including self-worth, and also an opportunity to better align myself and my path to my live-tastic self through the guidance of the North Node. Now, that opportunity for action and alignment is available to everyone. This is a collective transit. And how much you benefit from this personally, I think is going to relate to like how much work you have done regarding your Black Moon Lilith and Chiron. But don't worry, there is always work to be done. But like maybe start with cleaning out your personal closets of limiting beliefs and actual stuff. But, we want these spaces clean and clear for the energy and intentions of the Cancer new moon next week. So if you haven't already or you are new here, please subscribe to my channel to get that astrological update and transit translation for the new moon in Cancer on Monday, July 17th. Now, I will also be posting a Cancer season update for the next critical degree and another retrograde, this time for Venus. But thank you so much for watching. Please like this video if I resonated with you, and I always appreciate your comments and feedback. Now, if you would like a birth chart made, personal interpretations, and planetary guidance, feel free to email me at livetastic44@gmail.com. And I just would love to help you discover more about yourself and how to better harness the opportunities towards your growth and self-development, and of course, being live-tastic. Remember, living life as the best example of yourself. Bye!